Hey, and we're back with another episode of Before You Buy, that show where we give you some straight up gameplay and our first impressions of the latest games releasing. And today it's time for some really brief first impressions with Overwatch 2. It's here. Now, the original game, which many people put tons and tons of hours of their life into, has now officially shut down. And now everyone is migrating over to this new free-to-play Overwatch 2. Now, you may not have heard too much about Overwatch 2 in recent months, or you're a diehard who's been really looking forward to this. Now, here at gameranx, we fall somewhere in the middle. Myself and co-writer for this specific video, Eric, are not Overwatch diehards. We're just regular players. Not very great. Just to put that out there for perspective, so you know where we're coming from for this one. Also, we've only been able to play so much here. The game has been having a lot of server issues with everyone jumping into the game at once and Blizzard really doing their Blizzard thing here. We expected it kind of, but we also expected it to be better with the second game. Also, to be fair, they did have a DDoS attack that took them down for a bit after launch, so there's that too. But the launch straight up has not been good, so we don't have a ton of compelling gameplay just yet. It's been pretty bad since launch. Some people have barely been able to play it at all, but from what we did get to play so far, it seems okay, but there's just a little bit to it. Now, Overwatch 2, when you look into it, seems a little confusing. Is it Overwatch 1.5? Is it this whole new thing? Well, it's kind of a setting of a new foundation for Overwatch going forward, I guess. Overwatch 2 right now doesn't have that PvE, player versus enemy story mode that was announced or anything big or crazy. It's just more multiplayer that is now free to play with more progression, more monetization, tweaked things, new characters, and some nice updates to the gameplay flow. Some of that monetization stuff is annoying, but it's going to depend on what your tolerance level is. Mine is low, but we'll get to that. Gameplay impressions, really, the game seems like it might be a little bit more newbie friendly, at least at first. It feels like there's a little bit fewer shields and crowd control abilities all being thrown around, and the newer boosts to DPS rolls seem like they make them easier to pick up and play, and the Overwatch game has been, mostly a well-oiled machine for a minute now, but with it now being down to 5v5 and some tweaks, things feel a bit faster, a bit more aggressive, which, to be frank, is more fun, at least for us. The 5v5 in particular just seems to make more sense and makes things a little less all over the place crazy and a little more controlled and allow for more efficient use of the right skills at the right time for the right enemy, or at least the room to figure out when and where things are required. Now, the new game mode push in our limited experience seems good. The idea is a creative spin where it's kind of like payload versus payload. That's probably a bad way of explaining it, but it's essentially like teams fight for control of a robot at the center of the map that then can be controlled and commanded to push a barrier either one way or the other, and you're going to want to push it towards your enemy's base to win. Also, the newer ping system seems like a pretty good addition. The game really could have used something like this, and while it's taken a minute to getting used to incorporating it into your gameplay flow, it's good to have for pointing out locations and enemies and just kind of like a base level communication if you don't really feel like communicating anyway else. Now, once you actually get into the game, once you get past the server queues, there are new maps and, of course, new heroes. Now, it's worth noting, existing heroes are also shaken up a bit, like Doomfist is more of a tank now, and Mercy's Resurrect is tweaked, and some long-term players might actually have legit fun just jumping into all the characters and learning the new ins and outs and the role differences. But again, the new heroes. There's Sojourn, who has a cool railgun. She seems decent. Don't really see many people play her yet, but we've had fun using her. Can't say how viable she is in the long run. There's Junker Queen, who might be good to play as if you like annoying certain opponent types, but it seems like people are disappointed that she was nerfed after the beta. And then there's Kiriko. This is the standout new character. She's got unique and interesting abilities, and she plays like nobody else, and she's got a lot of utility. A lot of people are calling her top tier so far, and we can definitely see why, if only because of her crazy powerful ultimate. She also has a bit of a skill ceiling if you want to really get good with her, but players that know how to use her are really, really good. I mean, at least we've gotten our ass kicked by them a lot. Now, it seems like it may have been complicated, but transferring from Overwatch to Overwatch 2 is fairly simple, like account migration wise. If you've been on Overwatch anywhere, you have a Battle.net account and you do it with that. You were able to transfer skins, progress, and other account stuff to the new game. You can also link and take advantage of cross progression, like, move from one game platform to another, which we got to give props for some player choice and just good consumer stuff there. We had success doing this, but we've seen reports of it not going great for everyone. So just a heads up, maybe wait until the kinks are ironed out, unless you love dealing with customer service BS type stuff. Now, speaking of that, of course, this game is now free to play. And with that comes all the stuff you would expect. The tides are changing, my friend. We used to be at the forefront of complaining about this stuff, but now everyone in the world loves Apex Legends and Fortnite and whatever. And I've learned from comments and social media that they don't care as much about this stuff and just say, hey, get over it. It's free. You might be watching, you might think that too. It's really a matter of opinion and what type of player you are. Personally, I just get bored of talking about this stuff. It feels like playing the game is needless homework or busy work. But anyway, a brief explainer. The loot boxes are gone. So the plus side is that nothing is really up to random chance. Like, you know what you're working for, because there are 2 battle passes. There's a free one to progress through, and then you can pay to beef it up. This is $10 in the game's in-game currency that you convert to, and it gives you an automatic new hero right away, and then more premium stuff to grind through with an added XP boost. And you can also just pay up additionally to level up through the battle pass faster if you just love spending money. The seasons rotate. They're a few weeks, I believe, 9, I think. Now, you level up the passes by playing and doing. Now, to contradict myself a little bit, the one part of the doing that I do like here is the challenges tab. It's pretty in-depth and gives you big checklists of things to work through during your play, and it's satisfying to knock them out. There's a lot. Now, if you're new to Overwatch and you're playing on your own, you do have to go through the whole first-time user experience thing and essentially grind to get access to the main classic roster. The game gives you access to things as you play, it doles them out to teach you, and I guess not have noobs jump in with a big tank and not know what they're doing and disrupt matches. I don't know. This seems to confuse and piss some people off, so that is worth noting. Blizzard does do these things with the right thing in mind, but they end up kind of alienating or bothering some players, like the fact that you actually have to have a cell phone number to play this game for account security reasons. I guess it's to deal with trolls or hackers or something. I don't know. But from what I've seen online with some players, if you have a prepaid cellular phone, then your mileage might vary. I've seen it work out for some people and not for others. I would Google that though. They might change that. Now, otherwise, all that stuff, it's typical battle pass stuff. There's skins, emotes, heroes, all the souvenir goodies you're used to. Nothing really thrilling or offensive, in my opinion. Blizzard just needs to keep it interesting, keep it fair, keep the ratios reasonable, and I guess people will take to it. And that's really the whole thing, right? I always say this. It's hard to make judgment calls when these type of games launch, in the early days of them, because there's so much to the meta and how people play it and what the developers do with it and what they screw up and what people get mad about and what people like, that it's going to be this ever-changing thing. For now, once Blizzard sorts out the servers, and really Activision Blizzard sorts their whole damn life out, this is probably the start of the future of Overwatch, as long as it keeps steaming ahead. I'm looking forward to the new characters, more modes, more cool cinematics, and yeah. Even if you're not really big into Overwatch, you can't deny there is something special about it. The world they created, the vibe they created, some people really, really take to it, and it does seem like that part of it, at the very least, is continuing here, and I think that's at least a win. But we gotta see a lot more, and I'm curious to see how Overwatch 2 is in, say, a year from now. But that's really it. That's just some quick first impressions and really just some information for you to know. So this is a before you buy. You know how this goes by now. I give pros, cons, personal opinions, and now I want to hear yours down in the comments. What do you think? Have you been able to get in some matches like us? Were you lucky enough to play a little bit, or have you been stuck? Whoever you are, what do you think? Have you never played the original? Is this your first time? I'd love to know your experience. Let's talk anything Overwatch 2 down in the comments. We definitely love to hear from you, and all we gotta say is if this video helped inform your playing decision, your purchase decision, because I mean, yes, it's before you buy, even though this game is free, so there's that. But if this informed you, just click the like button. It really helps us out. But as always, thanks for watching, and we'll see you guys next time.